All right. Here we go. Notebooks out. Oops, that's period 6. It's period 5. All right. We are going to graph standard form again. So graph quadratics in standard form, but you want to put day 2. Really, I know it's our 3rd day on it, but we didn't really take notes on it all but one day. So we're going to do it again. So 926. Graph quads in standard form. Day 2. All right, I'm going to add 2 things in today. I'm going to add positive, negative, and increase, decrease. I said 2 things, but it's really like 4. All right, here we go. Back to recording. You say your grade is not that bad at a 48%. All right, here we go. The class average isn't that bad. So apparently I'm a little bit behind in teaching, but that's okay. Our title's not changing, we're just adding pieces. So what I was talking about is I'm going to add another piece in tomorrow. Nothing new. Today's new, but tomorrow won't be anything new. It'll be something we've done. But we'll have all the pieces back together tomorrow. Okay? But be prepared tomorrow to identify all pieces. Okay. Let's talk about 2 things really quick. We're going to talk about positive and negative intervals. Positive, negative intervals. For positive and negative intervals, we look at the function we looked at above and below the x-axis. So what does that mean? We're looking at the function, we're looking to see what's above and what's below the x-axis. So if we know that f of x is greater than 0, so remember f of x represents what variable usually? Y. So if your y numbers are greater than 0, you are positive. Because where are you located then? Above the x-axis or below? You're above it. So those are positive numbers, right? And you're above the x-axis. But if f of x is less than 0, then your y values are now what? Yeah, you're negative, and you're below the x-axis. The tricky part here is when we write our intervals, we write the intervals in terms of x. We write the intervals in terms of x. The only interval that is written in terms of y is your range. Domain is in terms of x. Positive, negative is in terms of x. Okay? And the next one I'm going to talk about is also in terms of x. The next thing we're going to talk about is increase or decrease intervals. Increase or decrease intervals. We read the graph from left to right. So if we're reading the graph from left to right, so if your parabola is like this, right? You're starting up here, and you're coming what? Down. So is that increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. And then right about here, you then turn and go what? Up, which is now what? Increasing. So what is that point here? The vertex. So the vertex is the changing point, is the turning point. You can think about it a little bit in terms of like a roller coaster, right? When you're on a roller coaster and you're going down, you're decreasing in height, not in speed usually. You're decreasing in height, right? But then as soon as you go back up, then you're increasing in height, correct? Same thing when you're starting off. Usually when you start off on a roller coaster, you go which way first? Go up. And then you hit the top part, and then you go down, right? So you increase and then you decrease. You're talking about height on a roller coaster, not necessarily speed. So increase and decrease intervals. We write the intervals in terms of x. We write the intervals in terms of x. Go ahead and cut out number 1. You want the instructions, yeah. right, we're going to number 1. While you're gluing that in, notice that it says, find the y-intercept. Have you done that before? Yeah, have you found the axis of symmetry? Yep, the vertex, end behavior, min and max, narrow, wide, domain and range. All of that is new until the last 2, okay? All of that is old, sorry. There's only 2 new things. So we're doing most of the same things we did on Friday and we reviewed yesterday, correct? Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at it and we're going to add in 2 pieces. So I want you to start off by finding the y-intercept. Remember, what does it mean to be the y-intercept? Where it crosses the y-axis, which means it's usually letter C. But if not, we know we can plug in what number? 0 for what? For x. The only reason I keep reminding you of that is because once I switch it to a different form, that doesn't work, okay? So we know that this cancels, and we get f of 0 is 3. Remember, your answer, though, needs to be written as in what? Ordered pairs. So your ordered pair is what? 0, 3, good. All right, remember B and C kind of go together. B is the axis of symmetry, which always starts with x equals and a number. How do we find the axis of symmetry? X is equal to negative B divided by 2 times A, correct? So when you plug this in, remember it's x equals negative times something over 2 times something. What goes in for B? What goes in for A? Negative times negative is what? Positive 2 over negative 2, which is what? Negative 1. So the axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative 1. My vertex. Do I have part of my vertex? Yes, I do. What does it start with? Negative 1 comma something. How do I find the something? Do what? You plug in what? Negative 1 wherever you see x. So f of negative 1 equals this is review, yes? Okay. What do we do next? Yes, we solve. How? So negative 1 squared is what? Positive 1, but then you have a negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is what? Positive 2. Then a positive 3. Going from left to right, negative 1 plus 2 is what? No, it's not. 1 plus 3 is what? 4. Good? Review? Hopefully. Letter D is end behavior. End behavior is which way? What determines end behavior? What letter? A. So what is A? Negative 1. Is it up or down? Good. Letter E, min or max? It's a max. I'm going to highlight it because I ran out of room over there. Letter F, narrow or wide? Letter G, domain and range. Domain is easy. What is it? To positive infinity? Range will determine after we what? After we graph it. All right, in order to graph, what do we graph first? The vertex. Your vertex is located at negative 1 comma 4. So we're going to go negative 1, go up to 4. Go ahead and put your point. Your y-intercept is located where? 0, 3. Go ahead and mirror that. When I mirror it, where did I go? Yeah, what point is that? -2, 3. Bless you. All right. I want to see if it actually crosses at 1, where it crosses at 1. So I'm gonna do that on the side really quick. So I'm going to say f of 1 really quick equals negative times 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 3. What's 1 squared? 1 times a negative. Negative 1. Negative 2 times 1? Negative 2 plus 3. What's negative 1 and negative 2? Negative 3 plus 3 is what? 0. So f of 1 is what? Okay. So can I plot that point? Yeah, I can. 1, 0 goes here. Oh, it's that x-intercept. So if I mirror it, where does it go? What was your question? I plugged in 1. It's f of 1. This one? Because I have these, right? I want to see if it's going to keep going. I said, what's going to happen at 1? Isn't 1 my next number? Yeah, so can I plug in 1? Yeah. Could I plug in 10? Sure. Could I keep plugging in numbers if I really wanted to? Mm-hmm. Forget 0? I plot whatever I find. This point is now 1, 0. All I'm doing is finding where it's going to hit. I just want to see what it looks like. There's a reason. Graph it. Don't forget to draw what through the middle? The axis of symmetry. Will I mark you wrong if you don't have it? Yes. All right. So what is our range? Negative infinity to positive 4? Yes. All right, remember, your range is the only one that deals with y's. Do you hear me? Your range is the only one that deals with y's. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put letter H. We're going to put increase and decrease. And then over here, we're going to go letter I, and I'm going to say positive and negative. And I'm trying to make it fit as best as possible. Once you write those down, then go ahead and put your pencil down. You can watch me. We're going to highlight, or I'm going to highlight, and then you can highlight after, but I want you to watch. Because this is where I start to lose you. Because all of this is review, right? None of that was new. The only 2 new things are what I'm about to do. So if you are still lost in here, that means you need to ask for extra help, because this is all review. Ready? Here we go. I'm going to zoom in on the graph so you can see what I'm going to do. All right, we're looking at the graph. The first thing I want to see is what's increasing and what's decreasing. Remember, think of your roller coaster, right? The vertex is your turning point. So I'm looking before the vertex and after the vertex. So if I'm looking before the vertex, I'm coming from here and I'm going up to here. So is that increase or decrease? It's increase. So I'm going to highlight that one color. Oops, if I can highlight correctly. And I'm going to label that as increase. No, not yet. Then I'm looking over here, and at the vertex, I then turn, and I go which way? I go down. So since I'm going down, I'm going to highlight that another color, and I'm going to say that's decreasing. Does that make sense? Now, when I'm looking at it, remember I said it's in terms of x, not in terms of y. Since it's in terms of x, I'm coming from what number? Because remember, this is never stopping. So what is that x value I'm coming from? Negative infinity. And I'm stopping right there at what point? It's not 4 because I'm talking in x's. Negative 1. So my increasing is from negative infinity to negative 1. Do you understand that? Then I turn and I decrease, the roller coaster switches, and I go from 1 to what? Or negative 1 to what? not negative. Why is it positive? You're talking about what values? Your x. And since your x's keep going, that means you're going to positive infinity. So when I write my increase and decrease, I'm going to write it like this. I'm increasing from negative infinity, to negative 1, and I'm decreasing from negative 1 to positive infinity. Okay there? Okay? Now, positive and negative. Let's talk about that. So, positive, I said you're located where? Read up at the top of your notes. Where's positive located? Above the x-axis. So if I'm above the x-axis, those are my positive pieces, yes? Am I lying to you or am I telling you the truth? I'm telling you the truth. So I'm going to highlight. Hopefully this color shows up differently. It's very similar. I don't like it. Switch to purple. It's still similar. We're going to pretend. There we go. All of that is positive, correct? Do you understand? Still in terms of which variable, x or y? X. So what is this x point right here? Negative 3. So what x point is that right there? To 1. So I'm positive, watch very carefully, from negative 3 to positive 1. Make sense? I'm looking at the parabola, where is it located? Well then, I'm going to go back over here, and I'm now going to look and say, what is below the x-axis? So if I switch my little paper here, and I go like this, I'm looking below the x-axis, and this is below, and so is this. But those are how many different pieces? 1 or 2? They're 2 different pieces. So still in terms of x, I'm coming from what number? Negative infinity. And I'm hitting what point? Negative 3. The other one's starting at what? 1 and going all the way to positive infinity. So I'm going to write that like that. So watch. I'm coming from negative infinity and I stop at negative 3. I go from positive 1 and I stop at positive infinity. These 2 things are here. You will do an IM3 the very first month of school. So if you're a person who gets rid of your notes from IM2, I wouldn't do that. They're going to expect you to know how to do all this. We're going to do number 3. What time's it boring today? 30. Oh, 36? Oh, I still got time. We're going to do number 3. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, should you be able to identify the y-intercept? Yeah. Should you be able to identify the axis of symmetry and the vertex? Yeah. Okay. Should you be able to tell me increase, decrease, or not increase, decrease, any behavior, min, max? Yeah. Okay. So I want you to do all of those things. Should be able to go all the way to letter G. If you don't write y-intercept as an ordered pair, are you wrong? Yes. Okay. All right, what's our y-intercept? 0, 8. If you do not have 0, 8 correctly, you are wrong. Make sure it's an ordered pair. Who had it right? Good. Axis of symmetry. X equals positive 2? How many agree it's positive 2? Ooh, not very many. How many do you have negative 2? Okay, remember, this is my hint to you. Make sure you're writing it like this. Why do I put the parentheses? Because it's still negative on the outside, and then you put in whatever goes here. That's a negative 4, positive 1, which is positive 4 over 2, which is 2. So be careful. All right, so it is positive 2. So your vertex is 2, 2, what?
4.
I only heard 2 people tell me. That's why I was waiting. Who else had 4? Okay. Do I need to do this again? Are we good? Okay, what's next? End behavior. Min or max? Narrow or wide? Could you do those 3 even without the first 2? Yeah, because all 3 of these are based on what letter? They're all just based on A. Okay? So I could always answer those no matter what. All right. Letter G. Domain is what? Yep. Range. Let me graph it first. Where am I graphing this? 2, 4. Which is there. 0, 8 is there. I'm mirroring it. So that's now what? 4, 8. Axis of symmetry goes right through the center. And my parabola goes up. We good? You can do this. Oh, I curved it. V. I'll show you what a V is. A V is very straight. It's curved V-ish, U-ish, but it needs to be rounded at the bottom. V becomes very straight. All right, we good? Range. What's your range? 4 to positive infinity. We good? Questions? Concerns? All right, here goes the next part. Go ahead and label increase and decrease. Go ahead and label increase and decrease on the paper. So on your graph, label where it's increasing and where it's decreasing. What's my purple one? Increase or decrease?
Decrease.
What is it? Decrease. The blue is what? Increase. Where are we decreasing from? Let's start decreasing. Negative infinity to neither. Two. Because you're always talking in terms of what? X. We're increasing from where to where? 2 to infinity. All right. Next letter. Positive, negative. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, if I cover the x-axis, is there anything below it?
No.
So is there anything negative? No. So what is it positive? Everywhere. So what does it mean to be everywhere? Negative infinity to positive infinity. Oh, no negatives. All positive. Nope. All right, listen very carefully. You're going to clean up. While you're cleaning up, I'm going to pass out homework. You're only going to do number 1 and number 5. Number 1 and number 5. Did you hear me? Okay. If you do anything else and you're like, oh, I did it all, I need extra credit, I'm going to tell you, well, you didn't listen to directions. Clean up your mess. Please pick up the floor. For what? It's due today. Bye, guys. Have a good day.